Amazing grace, how sweet that sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Welcome to Hebrew History Month, which the world calls Black History Month, but is really talking about us Hebrews as black people or people of color. And the title of this lesson is, We're Back. Oh, black Jesus. The stranger is very high above Yisrael. Let's go to Isaiah, the first chapter. We're back. So who are we? Let's go to Isaiah, the first chapter. Oh, black Jesus. The stranger is very high above Yisrael. Isaiah, the first chapter. We want to start at verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 1 verse 9. Except Yahweh Sabaoth had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So who are we? We're Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe families of Yisrael. And it said, except Yahweh Sabaoth, or of hosts, had left unto us a very small remnant. So there's not many of us. There's only a few of us of these 12 spiritual tribe families. We should have been as Sodom and should have been like unto Gomorrah. That is, not at all. So where have we been? Let's go to Leviticus, the 26th chapter. You say we're back. Where have we been? We've been involuntarily scattered to the four corners of the earth.
John Rod,
Leviticus 26.
Tell it like it is.
Leviticus 26. We want to read verse 33.
Hallelujah.
Leviticus 26 verse 33. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste.
Now this is Yahweh talking to the 12 natural tribes of Israel. He said, I will scatter you among the heathen. That's where we are now, among the heathen. That is non-Israel. Yahweh's going to let us know in this lesson. He calls them heathen. He calls them strangers. People that are non-Israel.
That's it.
We're going to look and see who Israel actually is and who the stranger actually is. It says, and Yahweh's drawn out a sword after the 12 tribes of natural Israel. He said their land is going to be desolate, our land, and our cities waste. And they are. They're desolate because we're not over there in the cities. Go to Psalms, the 44th chapter. So where have we been? We've been involuntarily scattered to the four corners of the earth. Psalms 44. And we want to read verse 11. Psalms 44 and verse 11.
Psalms 44 and verse 11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen.
Now this is Yahweh Elohim himself. He's talking to the 12 tribes of natural Israel. He said, you've given us like sheep, talking about these 12 tribes appointed for meat. What do people and animals do with meat? They eat it up. And has scattered us among the heathen. That's where we've been. Go to Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, or Yirmiah, the 9th chapter. So he tells you in different places. Right.
And we are.
Who are we? We're Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe families.
Right.
Where have we been? We've been scattered to the four corners of the earth.
Yep.
Jeremiah
Thus
9.
says Yahweh.
And let's read verse 16.
Hallelujah,
Jeremiah 9
Yahweh.
and verse 16, please.
Jeremiah 9 and 16. I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
So Yahweh said, I will, and he did.
Yep.
Scatter our forefathers also among the heathen,
Yep, yep.
whom neither they nor their Abba or fathers have known.
No, they didn't.
And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
Yes.
So this is Yahweh now talking about a vendetta against the 12 natural
Right,
tribes
right.
of Israel. Why? Why is he sending this sword after them? Why did he scatter them among the heathen? For not obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments,
Yeah, right,
for not
right,
standing
right,
up
it
and
is.
becoming the 12 spiritual tribe
Yeah, right.
nation of Israel that he set them up to
Yeah.
be. Let's go to Amos, the 3rd chapter.
Praise the mighty Yah.
He's got a vendetta against them because they did not stand up and teach Yahweh's rules and regulations
Right,
to the
right.
rest of the world. Amos, the 3rd chapter. And let people be able to look at them as a holy nation,
Yes.
so they could see how Yahweh is and they could make it into the kingdom.
Right?
Amos, the 3rd chapter. I'm going to start at verse 1.
Hallelujah.
Amos, the 3rd chapter and 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mizraim, saying,
Verse 2.
verse 2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Talking to the 12 natural tribes of Israel.
yeah.
He says, Shema, or hear this debar, or word that Yahweh has spoken against you, 12
know,
natural
right?
tribes of Israel. O band of children of Israel. You see who he's talking to? He's talking to our forefathers, and he's talking to us now.
Right, right.
Against the whole family. He's talking about his natural 12 tribe family that he brought up from the land of Mizraim or Egypt. And he said unto them, you only, 12 natural tribes of Israel, have I known of all the mishpachah or families
That's
of the
right.
earth. Therefore I will punish you,
I know,
12
right?
natural tribes of Israel, for all your iniquities. And that iniquity is not doing what Yahweh said.
That's it,
Let's go
right,
to Psalms,
right.
the 78th chapter. So Yahweh recorded in the scriptures that he would scatter the 12 natural tribes of Israel throughout the earth if they did not obey him by allowing him to make them into the 12 spiritual tribes of Israel. Psalm 78.
Yes.
So even though they're natural Israel, Yahweh said, I want a spiritual nation.
That's right.
And if you're not going to go there, he said, I'm going to scatter you and I'm going to send the sword after you.
Right, right.
Psalm 78. Let's start reading at verse 5, please.
Hallelujah.
Psalm 78 and verse 5. For he established a testimony in Yaakov and appointed a law in Yisrael, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
So this is something not only that we are supposed to know, and our forefathers were supposed to know, but they're supposed to tell it and teach it to their children.
That's right, that's
Not only
right.
teach it, but do it.
That's
He
it.
said he ate or established a testimony in Yaakov. That's among these 12 tribes, these natural 12 tribes of Israel. He appointed a Torah in Yisrael. He keeps talking about the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right, right.
The natural family,
Right, right.
natural 12 tribes, which he SABBATH, he commanded
Yeah.
our Abba. He didn't say this is your option, this is your
I
he
know, right?
commanded. It's a
That's
law
right.
that our Abba or fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
Yep.
All right, verse 6.
Verse 6. That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children.
That's
So
it.
he's saying that's how
That's
we're
it.
supposed to be.
Yep, yep.
Well, we woke up.
Yes.
We're
right.
back.
Yes.
We're the 12 spiritual spiritual tribes of Israel, we
Yes.
were clueless. We didn't know
I
who we
know,
were.
right?
Right.
We didn't know what had
Tell it like
happened
it is.
till Yahweh showed us in the
Hallelujah.
Bible
Yes.
what had happened.
Yes.
So the generation to come was supposed to know what Yahweh's Torah or laws
Right,
was.
right.
It says even the children which should be born, that's
Yup,
us,
yup.
who when we find out, we arise and declare them to our
Yes.
children.
Yes.
All right, so we're doing that now.
That's right.
All right, but our forefathers didn't do it, those 12 natural tribes of Israel. All right, verse 7.
Verse 7. That they might set their hope in Elohim.
Yes.
And not forget the works of Elohim, but keep his commandments.
Yes.
Say,
Verse 8. And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation. A generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with Elohim.
so Yahweh is letting us know what the problem was with the 12 natural tribes of Israel. And that's why now we understand we're part of the 12 spiritual tribes of Israel.
We've been
It says,
upgraded.
You teach Yahweh's commandments and you let them know what the testimony is that he has committed unto this
Yes.
12 natural tribes of
Yes.
Israel.
Hallelujah.
For people to set their hope in Elohim.
Yes.
And not forget the works of Elohim.
Okay.
And then Shema or keep his mitzvah, keep his commandments. And might not be as their Abba.
Right.
What was wrong with them? A stubborn and rebellious generation. It
Not
wasn't just one or two of them.
I know,
The
right?
majority. A
He
generation
said,
that set not
generation.
their mind aright, whose ruach was not steadfast with Elohim.
Yes,
That's Jeremiah the 49th
I
chapter.
stayed on Yahweh.
That's why he's against the 12 tribes of natural
Yup.
Israel. Jeremiah 49. They were fickle, they were unstable.
I know, right?
Not that they couldn't be, they just
They
didn't want to
refused.
be. They refused. Jeremiah 49. And we want to read verse 32. please.
Yahweh.
And it reads, and their camels shall be a booty, and the multitude of their cattle a spoil. Talking about these 12 natural tribes of Israel. And I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners.
Okay.
And I will bring their calamity from all sides, saith Yahweh. This is Yahweh coming against the 12 natural tribes of Israel. And they can't escape it.
No,
Go to
you cannot.
Ezekiel the 6th chapter. We're going to move a little fast because we got a lot to cover. Ezekiel the 6th chapter. Yahweh said everything they got.
I know, right?
Other people going to be spoiling them and taking it away from them.
Look at us today.
Why? Because Yahweh is against
He
those
pronounced it.
12 natural tribes
Yeah, he
for
pronounced it.
not standing up and teaching his laws, statutes, and commandments and keeping them and being that nation that he set them up to be.
Right.
Not transitioning into becoming the 12 spiritual
Hallelujah.
tribes of Israel. Ezekiel 6 and verse 5.
Praise Yahweh.
Ezekiel 6 and 5. And I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars.
All right, so here they were serving all kind of pagan deities,
Right.
doing everything that Yahweh said not to do.
Right.
He said, he's talking to the 12 natural tribes. Remember, I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars.
Okay.
So Yahweh is serious. He's
Yes,
not
he is.
playing.
No,
We're
he's
in
not.
Ezekiel, let's go to Ezekiel 22. So Yahweh scattered the 12 natural tribe families of Israel
Yes, he did.
to purge out the rebels
Yeah.
and to prompt the remnant to
Hallelujah.
become
Hallelujah.
his 12 spiritual
Hallelujah.
tribe nation. That's what he did it for.
Okay.
To
Praise.
purge out the rebels and to prompt the remnant to become his 12
Praise
spiritual
the mighty
tribe nation.
Yes.
Notice he said nation. And do what he set the nation up to do in the earth. Ezekiel 22, let's read verse 15, please.
Ezekiel
Hallelujah.
22 and 15. And I will scatter thee among the heathen, and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee.
So you see how this filthiness, how he's going to do it. He said, I'm going to scatter you among the heathen and disperse you in the countries. And I'm going to consume the filthiness out of you. That rebellious spirit, that not wanting to do what Yahweh set them up to do.
Right.
Let's go to 2 Kings, the 10th chapter. So how was this purging of the 12 natural tribes of Israel to work? After scattering them to the four corners of the earth, the sheep or people of the 12 natural tribes were to become, quote unquote, lost. Yahweh's purging started in 722 BC. Instead of the 12 natural tribes becoming the 12 spiritual tribes of Yisrael, they entered into Yahweh's purging process. And 10 of the tribes were renamed the lost sheep of Yisrael. 2 Kings 10. So if they didn't want to be known, then Yahweh said, okay, now I'm going to rename you the lost sheep after you won't stand up and do what I call you to do. 2 Kings 10. And let's start at verse 32, please.
Holla Yahweh.
2 Kings 10 and verse 32. In those days Yahweh began to cut Yisrael short, and Hazael smote them in all the coast of Yisrael.
Verse 33.
Verse 33. For Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites and the Reubenites and the Manassites, from Aroer, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan.
So you notice now it says in those Yahweh days, Yahweh,
I know, right?
Yahweh
I know.
began to cut Yisrael short. These 12 natural tribes of Yisrael. Yahweh began to cut them short. And Hazael, talking about this king of Syria, smote them, killed them in all the coast of Yisrael.
Right.
See what happened when our forefathers, the 12 natural tribes, turned their back? Yahweh said, hey, the devil was glad to step in and start killing. All he needed was arms of protection from around. Same thing is happening today. It said from Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites and the Reubenites. This is talking about Israel and the Manassites. Those are Yahshua's sons. From Aroer, which is by the river Arnon, even to Gilead and Bashan, in their own country.
I know, right?
All right.
Coast
in
to coast.
2 Kings. Let's go to the 13th chapter, 2 Kings 13.
Praise Yahweh.
So Yahweh began to cut Yisrael short.
Yes, he did. Yes, he has.
2 Kings 13. Let's start at verse 3, please.
Praise Yahweh.
2 Kings chapter 13 and verse 3. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Yisrael, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael, all their days.
Not only the one king, but into his son. So over a period of time.
I know, right?
He's trying to get him to stop disobeying him. Says the anger of Yahweh was kindled against these 12 natural tribes of Yisrael. And he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. So you see, this is dealing with the 10 tribes. All right, their rebellion against Yahweh. All right, it started in 722 BC, and over a period of years, they just kept not changing, not changing, not changing. All right, verse 4.
Verse 4. And Jehoahaz besought Yahweh, and Yahweh hearkened unto him. For he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. And Yahweh gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time.
So you see how merciful Yahweh is?
Yes.
He loves the 12 natural tribes.
That's right.
And it says, Jehoahaz besought Yahweh, and Yahweh listened to him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, the 12 tribes, because the king of Syria oppressed them. Well, Yahweh was the one that took his arms of protection around them, and then their enemies came in.
Right.
But Yahweh had mercy on them. Said Yahweh gave Yisrael a savior, a redeemer,
Right.
a deliverer, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians. And he's saying, okay, maybe this will help them to change.
I
Even
know,
though Yahweh
right?
knew they weren't going to change. And the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as aforetime. They had some peace.
Right.
But they kept doing, read verse 6.
Right.
Verse 6. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein. And there remained the grove also in Samaria.
So they're still doing tree worship. They're still worshiping all these pagan deities, doing everything except following Yahweh. All right, skip down to verse 22.
Praise Yahweh.
Verse 22. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoshaphat.
23.
Verse 23. And Yahweh was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them,
So wonderful.
and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Yishka, and Jacob,
Right.
and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet.
He's
Praise
long
Yahweh.
suffering. He's giving them
Yes.
chance after chance after
Yes.
chance.
Yes.
These 12 natural tribes of Israel. And he just kept messing up. 2 Kings 17 says Yahweh was gracious unto them.
Yes, he was.
And had compassion on them because
Yes,
of
he
his
did.
Bereitha covenant with Abraham,
Yup,
Yitzchak, and Jacob,
Yup.
and would not destroy them,
Right.
and not yet cast them out of his presence.
Right.
They hadn't become the lost sheep yet. Those 10 tribes just kept cutting up. 2 Kings 17, let's start at verse 13.
Hallelujah.
2 Kings 17 and verse 13. Yet Yahweh testified against Israel and against Yehudah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I command your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants the prophets.
So you see Yahweh in every generation with the 12 natural tribes. He's always got somebody standing up and telling them,
Right.
you're supposed to be the 12 spiritual
Right,
tribes
right,
of
right,
Israel.
right.
Being natural Israel gets you nothing except
Nothing.
you're supposed to be the ones that's passing out and telling everybody Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments. Not only telling them, but doing it.
Yahweh,
So it gets you more responsibility.
Yeah.
And Yahweh's not accepting you on a natural level. You got to transition to spiritual.
Hallelujah.
He said Yahweh testified against Israel. You see how it keeps saying Yahweh's against Israel,
Yeah.
against you. He's only against the 12 natural tribes of Israel
That's
that are
it, natural.
refusing to transition into being spiritual.
That's right. Yahweh.
And against Yehudah, by all the Nabi prophets, by all the seers. You got all these people, every generation saying it, just like we're saying
Yes,
it.
praise him.
Turn you from your
I know,
rod,
right?
your evil ways. Shamar my mitzvah, keep my commandments and my statutes.
Okay.
According to all the Torah or law which I SABBATH commanded your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants, the Nabi the prophets. So it's not like they didn't know.
Yeah.
All right, verse 14.
Verse 14. Notwithstanding, they would not hear,
Huh.
but hardened their necks,
Wow.
like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in Yahweh their Elohim.
15.
Verse 15. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahweh had charged them that they should not do like them.
So it says, even though he had all these righteous men, spiritual Israel, of the 12 tribes of spiritual Israel, coming telling him what Yahweh said, and turn from your evil ways, stop doing this. It says, regardless, that notwithstanding, they would not hear, they wouldn't pay any attention. They heard it, but they rejected it.
Right.
It says they hardened their neck like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in Yahweh their Elohim. They wanted to do it the way they wanted to do it.
Right.
They didn't care what Yahweh wanted. It says they rejected his statutes, and they that would not is chose not to hear. They refused to hear.
That's right.
They rejected his statutes and Ibryi, his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies. Talking about they rejected what the 12 tribes of spiritual Yisrael were telling them.
Right.
All right? And the testimonies testified against them. They followed vanity. They became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahweh had commanded. That charge has commanded them that they should not do like them. They ran and did it. All right, verse 16.
Verse 16, and they left all the commandments of Yahweh their Elohim, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worship all the host of heaven, and serve Baal.
Now, and so you see, it says they left all Yahweh's commandments.
I know, right?
I mean, you know, at least some of them, they left them all. It says all Yahweh's commandments, and made molten images, 2 golden calves, and made a grove, worshiping trees, and Shakar worship all the hosts of heaven, everybody but Yahweh, and serve Baal. All right, verse 17.
Verse 17, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger.
Verse 18.
Verse 18, therefore Yahweh was very angry with Yisrael, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Yehudah only.
So this is how the 10 tribes became, the 10 natural tribes of Yisrael became the lost sheep of Yisrael first. All right? Let's go to 2 Kings. Let's see, are we in 17? Okay, 2 Kings 17, and we're going to continue with verse 19. And let me just say, 10 of the natural tribes went into Yahweh's purging first, and were scattered out of the land. The 2.5 natural tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were next, because they too kept resisting becoming part of Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe nation. They only wanted, the majority only wanted to be natural Israel. Just like now, they only want to be natural Israel, but that's not going to get it.
Nope.
And we're going to look at this falsehood going around where you got strangers trying to be natural Israel, like that's going to get them somewhere. The devil has deceived them. All right, 2 Kings 17. Let's start reading at verse 19.
Hallelujah.
Yes, continue.
Okay. Verse 19, also Yehudah kept not the commandments of Yahweh their Elohim, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made.
20.
Verse 20, and Yahweh rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight.
All right, so now let's talk about the 10 tribes. Now here goes the last 2 of the 12 natural tribes of Israel. It says, and Yehudah, she's talking about these last 2 tribes, kept not the commandments of Mishpah of Yahweh the Elohim, but walked in the statutes of Yisrael which they had made. Did after the 10 tribes who had gotten kicked out of the land. And Yahweh rejected all the 12 natural tribes of Israel. He rejected them all. That's all the seed of Israel. And afflicted them. This is Yahweh doing this. And delivered them into the hand of spoilers. To just be beaten down, trodden down, talked about, just really worked over. Until he had cast them out of his sight. Let's go to Luke, the 22nd chapter. So the 2.5 natural tribes of Israel that were left, they started joining Yahweh's purging process in 63 BC. Yahweh allowed the Romans to defeat them. So they joined the already scattered 10 natural tribes in 70 AD. And then they were renamed the lost sheep of Israel too. Luke 21. You think they would have saw and learned, but nope. They had to learn the hard way. They didn't have to, but they chose to learn the hard way. Luke 21. I mean, if you see somebody getting in trouble doing
I know, right?
you ought to be smart enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that because I'll get in the
Right.
same trouble.
That's right.
But thank goodness we're back.
Hallelujah.
We learned from that.
Yes, we did.
We're the spiritual 12 tribes of Israel.
Yes, we are.
We learned from our forefathers, so we're not going to do what they did. All
Oh,
right, Luke 21 and verse 20, please.
hallelujah.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Huh.
21.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Yehuda, Judea, flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
22.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, and all things which are written may be fulfilled.
The days of vengeance of Abba Yahweh
Okay.
coming against these 12 natural tribes of Israel for not wanting to transition into the 12 spiritual tribe nation that he set them up to be. It says, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, and know that the desolation thereof is nigh. And 22, these are the days of vengeance, talking about Yahweh's vengeance, and this was a forerunner of the abomination that makes desolation that's going to be set up in the temple right before the great tribulation period starts. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter. So we learned from our forefathers' bad decision
Yeah.
not to become Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe families of Israel. Not to allow Yahweh to make us. We are now allowing him to make us into his 12 spiritual tribe nation.
Yes.
We're back.
Yes, we are.
That's right.
And we greet our Hebrew Israelite brothers who composed the song with the words, you ain't no Egyptian, you ain't no Muslim, you ain't no African. Come on, get it right. You're an Israelite.
Yes, we are.
Jeremiah 3. And you're spiritual.
Yes, we are right now.
A spiritual nation. Jeremiah 3. And let's start at verse 13, please.
Hallelujah.
Jeremiah 3 and 13. Only acknowledge thy iniquity, that thou hast transgressed
Okay.
against Yahweh thy Elohim, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith Yahweh.
Now that's the first step that we, as the 12 spiritual tribes of Israel, had to admit.
Right.
Our forefathers messed up.
Right.
If we're thinking like our forefathers, because we're natural Yisrael, that's going to get us something,
Yep.
then we're going to mess up just like our forefathers. So we have to admit that they did not obey Yahweh. That's why we're in the condition that we're in.
Yep.
You can't blame it on the white man,
No.
whatever color man.
No.
Don't blame it on the black man.
No.
Blame it on your forefathers and blame it on yourself if you don't learn from what your forefathers did. And if you want to continue to be natural minded instead of spiritual minded.
That's right.
All right. They didn't obey Yahweh, and that's the first step to transition into being spiritual Israel.
Yes.
Admit it. They messed up. And we don't want to keep messing up.
No, we do
All right?
not.
Verse
No, we
14.
won't.
Verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you.
Yes.
And I will take you, one of a city and two of a
Yes.
family, and I will bring you
Yes.
to Zion.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart,
Yes.
which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
So this is what
Yes.
Yahweh set up
Yahweh.
this 12 spiritual tribe nation for.
Yes.
To be pastors according to his own pay, his own
Right,
mind.
right.
They're going to feed you with his yada
Yes.
knowledge and his being understanding.
Yes.
But he said, you got to turn,
Yeah.
12 natural tribes of
That's
Israel. Turn, O backsliding children, said Yahweh, because I'm married unto you. And I'll take you one of a city. He said, if the whole family won't come, I'll
Right.
take one out of the family.
Hallelujah.
I'll take two out of the family. I'll take whoever will stand up and admit their
Hallelujah.
forefathers messed up and they
Yep.
want to get it right.
Yeah.
He said, and I'm going to give you teachers, I'm going to give you seers, I'm going to give you prophets
Yeah, yeah.
that will tell you what I'm saying,
Thus
how to make
says
that
Yahweh.
transition so you can become that spiritual nation.
Yes.
It's not about being natural Yisrael, it's
No,
about
it's
being
not.
spiritual.
Y'all right, bro.
Alright.
Tell it like it is.
Go to 1 Peter,
the
the
hams
second
can know.
chapter. 1 Peter, the second chapter. So the 12 spiritual tribe families understand they're returning to Yahweh. It's
Yes.
all about transitioning
Right,
them
right.
into the 12 spiritual
Yeah,
tribe,
into.
holy nation of Israel.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Not
Yes,
about standing up and talking about I'm a Reubenite or I'm a
I
Gadite.
know, right? Hallelujah.
You know, like Yahweh, please. 1 Timothy 2.
Praise Yahweh.
1 Timothy?
You said first.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 Peter.
Oh.
1 Peter. Yeah, thank you. 1 Peter 2. So the 12 spiritual tribe families of Israel understand their returning to Yahweh is all about transitioning them into the 12 spiritual tribe holy nation of
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
1 Peter 2, let's start at verse 9.
Hallelujah.
1 Peter 2 and 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
This is what we're here for. This is not to stand up and talk about natural Israel.
That's right.
You are a chosen generation.
Yes.
Ah.
You see, he's talking about a lot of people. Generation.
Yes.
A royal priesthood.
Yes.
Spiritual Israel. A holy nation.
Holy. Yes.
A peculiar people. He's
Yes.
talking about setting up a spiritual nation.
Yes. Different from everybody else.
All right, that's why he called us out of darkness into his light, not to stay in darkness and leaning on talking about I'm natural Israel. So what? Verse 10.
Verse 10. Which in time past were not a people,
Yes.
but are now the people of Elohim,
Hallelujah, Yahweh.
which had not obtained mercy, but now have
Praise
obtained
God.
mercy.
Yes, Yahweh is
Praise
merciful. We saw how
Praise
the
Him.
10 tribes, he kept, sending them deliverers,
Right.
saviors, and he kept having compassion on them.
Yes.
Yep.
So Yahweh's poured out his compassion on us, and we're
Yes.
going to make sure that we humble ourselves
Yes.
and do everything
That's
that
the
he's
key.
called us to do. That's
Must
right.
stay humble.
And for those that think holiness has gone out the window or whatever,
Huh.
then you better go jump out the window,
I
because
know,
that's where
right?
you're going to be. You won't be in the kingdom.
That's right.
All right, let's go to Exodus, the 19th chapter. So Yahweh always intended for the 12 natural tribe families to become his 12
Right, right,
spiritual
right.
tribe nation.
Right?
He always intended it to be a nation. He never intended it to just be a few tribes.
I know, right?
So he went to plan B, because he said, hey, this is going to get done. So if the 12 tribes won't
Right.
cooperate, then I'm going to set up this one tribe for right now. But he intended them to be a holy nation, Exodus 19. He always intended them to be a
Yep,
holy
yep.
nation, not just a few tribes.
Nope.
Exodus 19, let's read verse 5, please.
Hallelujah.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Yes.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests
Hallelujah.
and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of
Hallelujah.
So who
Israel.
was he talking to? He's talking to the 12
Yep.
natural tribes of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
You shall be unto me, whichever way he got to do it. If he got to scour them across the four corners of the earth, which is what he's doing now, he going to have his
Yep.
kingdom of Kahana, priest, and a Kadash Am, a holy nation.
Right, right.
All right? And we are part of those
Yes, we are right now.
that 12 spiritual nation, that 12
Yes.
tribe spiritual nation. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words of the Dabarim that he said to speak unto who? The children of Israel,
Right, right.
the 12 natural tribes of Israel. He didn't stop speaking it, he's still speaking it.
Yes, he is.
All right, let's go to Numbers, the 18th chapter. So Yahweh never intended his spiritual Israel nation to be limited to only a few tribes.
Oh, he did.
That was plan B. But he went to plan B for a little while, but now he's back on plan A. Numbers, the 18th chapter. And he's taking them, he said, one of a family,
Yes.
two of a family.
Yes.
Say, hey, the whole family may not come, but I'll take the one that'll come.
Right. Praise him for that honor.
Numbers 18, let's start at verse 1.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 18 and verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Aharon, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy son with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood.
All right, so now here, he was telling them in Exodus, look, I want you to be a holy nation, a kingdom of priests. Then they went to acting up and rebelling. So now here he's going to plan B, and he's telling Aharon, to his sons and his father's house, you'll bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, you and your sons with thee.
Yes.
This is plan B. This is not, he said a holy nation.
Right.
But he's going to get it done. Just like when we're doing something, if you start out with plan A, and then, go to getting sidetracked, or people go to getting sidetracked, Yahweh goes to plan B.
No.
He's going to get it done.
Right.
Yes.
None of us is going to stop him doing this
Right.
spiritual thing in the
Right.
earth.
Yeah,
He's
right,
getting
right.
people
Tell
into
like
the
it
kingdom.
is.
He's going to do it whatever way
I know, right? It's
that
gonna
he
get
can
done.
get it done, whoever he can get it done through.
Right.
All right, verse 2.
Verse 2. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, which thou bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee, and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness.
All right, so he's just setting up this priesthood of
Right.
this one tribe right now, Levi, so he can get things started.
Right.
Because the 12 natural tribes were rebelling and not wanting to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
All right, let's go to Numbers, the first chapter. So the problem with the 12 natural tribes is the majority of them didn't want what Yahweh wanted. Just like today, they don't want what
I
Yahweh
know,
wants.
right?
They refuse to allow him to transition them into becoming spiritual.
Right.
Numbers, the first chapter. So just like the priesthood, he's using plan B.
Yes.
And he's still purging the 12 natural tribes
Yes, he is.
scattered to the four corners of the earth.
Yep.
They're being made spiritual by Yahweh fine-tuning them
Hallelujah.
and eliminating the
Hallelujah.
rebels.
Yes.
He's eliminating the rebels each generation.
Yes.
The Bible states that 603,550 fighting men in ancient Israel left Egypt's slavery. Numbers, the first chapter, and verse 45.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Numbers chapter 1 and verse 45. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel.
46.
Verse 46. Even all they that were numbered were 600,000 and 3,550.
All right, so that's how many, it gives you that figure, 603,550 fighting men, all right,
Okay.
in ancient Israel left slavery. But using this number, Bible commentaries estimate that about 2 to 3 million people left Egypt.
Right.
And even this estimate, they say, is probably low, since they could not take into account the unrecorded number of non-Israel strangers,
Okay.
males, females, and
Praise the
children
mighty
who
Yah.
also left Egypt with the 12 natural
Right.
tribes. Let's go to Exodus 12. So there's a whole bunch of people of this 12 tribe natural nation that Yahweh was
Right,
trying
right.
to work with.
Right.
Exodus 12. And we want to start at verse 37. Exodus
Hallelujah.
12 and verse 37, please.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children.
There's 38.
Verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with
Okay.
them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
All right, so you see all these people
Right,
Yahweh's
right.
talking about. Ancient Yisrael. Let's go back to Numbers, the first chapter. The number of men in the tribe of Levi is also not recorded because Yahweh forbid
Right.
counting of them.
Right.
Numbers, the first chapter. And we're going to see all these people that came out of Egypt. And then we're going to see how Yahweh started purging them.
Right.
And they started getting killed. Numbers 1, let's go to verse 47, please.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 1 verse 47. But the Levites after the tribe of their fathers were not numbered among them.
48.
Verse 48. For Yahweh has spoken unto Moshe, saying, verse 49. Only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel.
All right, so
Right.
you don't know how many
Right,
of the tribe of
right.
Levi there were. All right, let's go to Numbers 14. So Yahweh is fine-tuning the 12 natural tribes
Yeah.
of Israel. And we see in the wilderness it records thousands of them being killed
Right.
as they systematically refuse to
Right,
cooperate with Yahweh
Yeah, right.
to
Just
be
like
made
this.
into his 12 spiritual tribe
That's
nation.
it.
He had to start killing them.
Right.
So some of us could stand up and be made into
Hallelujah.
spiritual Israel. Because
Yes.
if he hadn't killed out the rebels,
Image.
if he hadn't killed out the rebels, they would have influenced everybody. Just like they say, what is it? Rotten apple spoils the barrel, or whatever
Yeah.
it is. You got to get it out.
One
Right.
bad apple spoils a whole
But
bunch.
Yahweh's showing you this principle. He had to start killing his own
Yeah.
people just so he could get this remnant of this 12 spiritual tribe nation that he wanted.
Uh-huh.
All right, Numbers 14, and let's start at verse 26.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 26. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aharon, saying,
27.
verse 27, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation, which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me.
Yahweh's telling them one thing and telling them how to transition
Right.
out of their natural mind, and then they're rebelling because they don't want to do it.
Right.
He said, hey, how long am I going to bear with this evil? Now he's talking about the natural tribes of
I
Israel.
know, right?
He's talking about our people. Which
Yeah.
murmur against me. I've heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. 28.
Verse 28, Say unto them, As truly as I live, saith Yahweh, as ye have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you.
All right, what did they say? 29.
Verse 29, Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me.
All right, they said, would Yahweh we had died, in the wilderness, or would Yahweh we had died in
Right.
Mizraim? Yahweh said, okay, good. That's what I'm going to give you. So we have to watch the words that we're
Yes, we
saying.
do.
We are a spiritual people.
Right.
So we can't just be popping off and saying anything that the rest of the world is saying. Says, say unto them, as truly as I live, said Yahweh, and we know Yahweh's alive, always will be, always was, and have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses, you are going to die in the wilderness, shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward. That's how we know you're grown when you're 20.
Right, right.
You're making your own decisions. Your parents are no longer responsible for you. 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Verse 30.
Verse 30. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Yahshua the son of Nun.
All right, he said only these two
Right,
men, because they didn't come back murmuring against Yahweh. And talking about Yahweh was setting them up, and we're grasshoppers, and why would Yahweh tell us he gave us some land, and then we got to go and we got to fight?
Right.
Just natural minded.
Yes.
All right, skip down to verse 35.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 14 verse 35. I, Yahweh, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me in this wilderness. They shall be consumed, and there they shall die.
So who is this doing this against the 12 natural
Yahweh.
tribes? Yahweh says, I, Yahweh, have said, Amar, and I will surely do it
Yep.
unto all this this evil congregation that are gathered together against me, against Yahweh. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And they did. Let's go to Numbers, the 16th chapter. So he's fine-tuning and purging out the rebels.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's still doing that today.
Yep.
And Yahweh's not causing these Shemite youths to be picked off.
Nope.
They're just out from under his arm protection.
That's it. Y'all right,
And
Ross.
he's fine-tuning the 12 natural tribes.
Yep,
And their parents not trying to seek Yahweh. They're not trying to seek Yahweh. So this is just another way that he's fine-tuning them. It's getting them picked off. All right, Numbers 16, verse 31.
Hallelujah.
Okay, Numbers chapter 16 verse 31. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder and was under them. That was
32.
under them.
That was under them. 32.
Verse 32. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that are pertaining unto Korah, and all their goods.
Purging them out. Purging out the rebels.
Right.
All right, verse 33.
Verse 33. They and all that are pertaining to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation.
34.
Verse 34. And all Yisrael that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also.
So you see how Yahweh killing some of them
Right.
was wising some of them up,
Yep.
getting them, snapping them up out of their natural mind. It says, and all Israel that was round about them, so they were close,
Right.
they ran away at the cry of all of these rebellious people getting sucked down into the earth, big
Right.
sinkhole. For they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. Yeah, the earth gonna swallow you up if you coming against Yahweh. All right, verse 35.
Verse 35. And they came out a fire from Yahweh and consumed the 250 men that offered incense.
All right, and then he killed an additional 250
Right.
of the 12 tribes of natural Yisrael. This is Yahweh killing his own people,
Right,
allowing them to be killed, or allowing the devil to come in and kill them. All right, why? Because they're rebelling against him.
That's it.
Skip down to verse 46.
Thank you, Yahweh.
1646.
Okay. Numbers chapter 16 verse 46. And Moshe said unto Aharon, take a censer and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them, for there is wrath gone out from Yahweh. the plague is begun.
So now not only did the earthquake swallow these people up, Yahweh sent fire from heaven and burnt up 250
Right.
of the children of Yisrael, men. And it says, and Moshe said to Aaron, take a censer and put fire thereon from off the altar, put on incense and go quickly unto the
Right.
congregation,
Right.
and make an atonement for them, for there's wrath going out from Yahweh,
Right, right.
a plague.
Right, right.
Yahweh sent a plague. What's he doing? He's fine-tuning Israel.
Right.
The 12 tribes of the natural Yisrael, to transition them, to prompt them into becoming spiritual Yisrael.
right.
So they can see it's not about being natural Yisrael.
Right,
You
right.
better get spiritual.
Yeah, right, so
All
they
right,
know.
verse 47. So Yahweh sent a plague on top of that.
Uh-huh.
47.
Verse 47, and Aharon took as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation, and behold, the plague was begun among the people. And he put on incense, and made an atonement for the people.
48.
Verse 48, and he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed.
49.
Verse 49, now they that died in the plague were 14,700,
Yep.
besides them that died about the matter of Korah.
So in addition,
Right.
14,700. Yahweh is doing this so that we can be spiritual Yisrael. Because with all these rebels around, there was no chance. He's purging, he's
Right.
pruning. So we got to get on the right side and stay on the right side. Go to Numbers 21st chapter. 14,700. In addition to the ones that
Right.
went down in the earth with Korah, and the 250 that got burned up, that Yahweh sent fire from heaven on.
Right.
And these are his people.
Right.
Numbers 21. And we want to start at verse 5.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 21 and 5. And the people spake against Elohim, and spake against Moshe. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Mizraim to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread.
Well, God ain't coming against Yahweh and telling him
I
how
know,
he's
right?
doing this bad thing and he's not taking them anywhere better. The people spake against Yahweh and against Moshe. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Mizraim to die in the wilderness? There's no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this stuff that Yahweh's providing.
I know, right?
Ungrateful, somebody,
I know, right?
natural-minded,
Right.
12 natural tribes of Israel.
Sing grace. Oh.